I want to ask you a serious question. How many days could your household survive on the food currently in your kitchen? No shortcuts, no substitutions. Just food. Enough to feed everyone. When most people honestly sit down to answer this question, the answer comes down to 3 days. 3. That's the average amount of food a typical household has on hand at any given time. There are only 3 days between a normal Tuesday and a real crisis. But here's the part that changes everything. There are foods that can last 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. Some last indefinitely, and chances are, some of these are sitting in your home right now, completely overlooked because you have no idea how extraordinary they are. They're quietly waiting on your pantry shelf, with the potential to get you and your family through almost any situation. Here's the list. 18 foods, ranked from useful to truly legendary. By the time you reach number 1, you'll wonder why no one ever mentioned this before. And number 1 will really surprise you. Stay tuned. Any serious discussion of long-term food storage starts here. Once you understand the science behind it, you'll never look at a bag of rice the same way again. Properly stored white rice remains perfectly usable for 30 years or longer. This isn't just marketing talk. Archaeologists have excavated rice from ancient settlements, dating back thousands of years, and confirmed it's still safe to eat. The explanation is simple. When rice is milled, the natural oils inside the grains are removed. It's those oils that cause spoil. By removing them, you eliminate the fundamental mechanism of spoil. Seal it in airtight mylar bags or food-grade containers with oxygen absorbers, and you've effectively put it on hold. No oxygen means no bacteria. No bacteria means no spoil. It simply waits quietly until you need it. Throughout history, rice has served as both food and currency during serious crises. In every culture, in every century, whenever everything else became unreliable, rice was the first thing people turned to. This is no coincidence. A 30-year shelf life, 0 refrigeration requirements, and compatibility with nearly every dish. That's why the list starts here. Most people overlook this right away. That's exactly why it's on the list. When stored in a cool, dry place, ramen can remain usable for up to 10 years. On your pantry shelf for 10 years, ready with just hot water, fast and reliable carbohydrate energy. 2 factors work together to achieve this long shelf life: extremely low moisture content and airtight packaging. Without moisture, bacterial growth is prevented before it even starts. There's one crucial detail for serious long-term storage. Foam-lidded versions won't hold up. The material of the container degrades and puts the contents at risk. For proper storage, opt for the flat brick-style packages and transfer them to airtight containers. This single step provides protection against moisture and contaminants and keeps the 10-year shelf life intact. Ramen doesn't pretend to be a healthy food. In situations where the priority is getting quick calories with minimal cost and effort, it delivers exactly what it promises. Be honest with yourself about this. No one reaches for canned green beans with any real enthusiasm. That's just the reality. But change the context, and everything shifts. Imagine it's been 2 weeks since a major supply disruption. There are no fresh produce. That ordinary can suddenly doesn't look so ordinary anymore. A lifesaver. The canning process seals the contents under vacuum the moment the lid is closed, subjects them to heat treatment, and stops the clock on most canned vegetables, stored in a cool, dry place, remain safe and nutritious for 5 to 10 years, sometimes even longer. Here's the point most people completely overlook: the liquid inside the can. When clean drinking water becomes scarce, this liquid becomes crucial. Canned vegetables quietly serve a dual purpose, providing both nutrition and hydration from a single container. Fiber, antioxidants, iron, essential vitamins all are preserved in meaningful amounts. Simple packaging, serious, underrated performance. This is the substance that never fails to amaze people. The Cairo Museum houses a jar estimated to be over 3,000 years old. When tested, it was found to be chemically unaltered and still edible. It had remained sealed in a jar for 3,000 years and was exactly as it was on the day it was placed inside. So what causes honey to behave this way? Chemistry. Honey contains almost no free moisture. Its naturally high acidity, primarily from gluconic acid, creates an environment where bacteria cannot survive. No bacteria means no decomposition. No decomposition means no expiration date. For a properly sealed jar of pure honey, there is no path for biological decay. It doesn't just not spoil. This isn't a figure of speech. Beyond its extraordinary shelf life, honey has been used for thousands of years as a wound dressing, throat soother, and digestive aid. Medical-grade honey is actively used today in clinical wound care worldwide. This isn't folk medicine. It's documented science. Practical note. If your honey crystallizes, don't throw it away. This isn't spoilage, it's physics. A warm water bath will return it to a liquid state without affecting any of its properties. And on a purely human level, after surviving on rice and beans for days, a spoonful of honey transforms a functional meal into something truly worth eating. Sealed in a jar for 3,000 years, it's still good. Think about that. Small, unassuming, and consistently one of the least valued items in any serious food storage plan. When kept dry and stored in airtight containers, lentils can retain their nutritional value for up to 30 years. 30 years, no refrigerator needed. Beyond keeping moisture out, no special processing is required. But longevity is only part of the story. Lentils are rich in plant-based protein, complex carbohydrates, dietary fiber, and iron. When reliable access to fresh meat is unavailable, they go from being a side option to a critical protein source. They also cook much faster than most other dried legumes, which becomes important when fuel is limited. Here's what really surprises people. Plain lentils have an almost completely neutral taste, but they absorb the flavors around them better than almost any other staple on this list. Add some spices, a bouillon cube, a bit of canned tomato, and they turn into something truly satisfying. Soups, stews, grain bowls, savory meatballs. This blank canvas quality isn't a weakness, it's one of their most practical features. A 30-year shelf life, exceptional nutrition, and the ability to flavor them however you like. Small, unassuming, and consistently one of the least valued items in any serious food storage plan. Most people categorize sugar as a comfort food, something that has its place in baking and coffee, but no place in a serious emergency plan. This framing overlooks much of what sugar actually does. When supplies are limited, pure white sugar, kept dry and sealed away from moisture, lasts indefinitely. It doesn't spoil. It doesn't lose its sweetness. It doesn't become unsafe. Like salt, it just waits. Here's what most people don't know. Sugar is a natural food preservative. This is the principle behind why jams, fruit preserves, and syrups can last for months without needing a refrigerator. Sugar creates an osmotic environment that draws moisture away from bacteria and inhibits their growth. When refrigeration isn't reliable, sugar becomes a preservative before it's a sweetener. It's also the fastest source of calories available. When your body needs instant fuel under physical or mental stress, simple sugars respond faster than anything else on your ingredient list. And when meals become monotonous, which inevitably happens at some point, a small touch of sweetness disproportionately changes how the meal feels. Sugar isn't just for good times. It truly earns its place during the tough ones. Salt may be the most historically significant item on this list, and yet, it's also something most people toss into their shopping cart without a second thought. For most of human history, salt shaped entire economies, fueled intercontinental trade routes, and determined which civilizations could survive and which could not. The word salary is derived from the Latin word for salt. It wasn't just a seasoning, it was compensation. It was wealth. The most important thing to know for long-term storage is the simplest. Pure salt has no biological mechanism for when kept dry, it remains as it is, indefinitely. But its true value in a survival context goes far beyond flavor. Salt draws moisture out of food and creates conditions where bacteria struggle to survive. This is the principle behind meat curing, fish brining, and vegetable fermentation. In a serious crisis, salt doesn't just season your food, it extends the shelf life of the rest of your supplies. And it's physiologically essential. Your body needs sodium for fluid balance, muscle function, and nerve transmission. This isn't a choice, it's biology. Use plain, non-iodized salt for bulk storage. The additives in iodized versions can degrade over time. Almost everyone has it. Almost no one takes it seriously. White vinegar shows up in salads and pickle recipes, then gets shoved to the back of the cupboard for years. Here's what people overlook. White vinegar doesn't go bad. Its chemical structure, built around acetic acid, makes it naturally self-preserving. Bacteria can't grow in it. Mold can't develop. The taste doesn't change. A bottle bought today is functionally the same product as one bought 10 years ago. But longevity is just the beginning of the story. Vinegar is a true food preservative. You can extend the shelf life of vegetables by pickling them. It serves as an effective antimicrobial surface cleaner, a meat tenderizer, a natural fabric care product, and a mild insect repellent. In a scenario where resources are limited, a single substance that covers so many categories is not just useful, it's strategically valuable. No refrigerator needed. A cool, dark place is sufficient. A few large bottles take up minimal space and provide benefits for cooking, cleaning, and preservation for years. Sometimes the most powerful item in a preparedness plan is the one already sitting in the back of the cupboard. Asterisk. Powdered milk has a reputation problem. It's often seen as a poor imitation of the real thing. But before you make up your mind, take a look at what it actually offers. When stored properly in a sealed container away from moisture and heat, non-fat dry milk can retain its nutritional value for 20 years or longer. This isn't just a packaging claim, it's backed by food science research. Over those 20 years, you'll get consistent levels of calcium, protein, and essential vitamins, including B12 and D. Add water, and you have functional milk ready to use in coffee, cereals, baking, soups, and sauces. The taste difference between powdered and fresh milk is real and worth noting. But in a true emergency, taste is no longer the deciding factor. What matters is nutritional value, calories, and availability. Powdered milk performs well in all three areas. A small practical tip: after opening, transfer the contents to an oxygen-absorbing mylar bag or a sealed container. This simple precaution significantly extends the shelf life of your product. 20 years of reliable nutrition. Zero refrigeration, far more kitchen benefits than its reputation suggests. This might be the most psychologically significant item on the entire list. This isn't just a casual claim. Instant coffee won't win any awards for depth or complexity. But in the context of a prolonged disruption, where daily routines have vanished and everything around you feels uncertain, a cup of coffee carries a weight that has almost nothing to do with caffeine. It's normality. A small, familiar anchor when everything else becomes unpredictable. Practically speaking, freeze-dried vacuum-sealed instant coffee can remain usable for 20 years or longer without losing its potency. All you need is hot water. No equipment, no grinding, no filter. In under 2 minutes, you get something hot, caffeinated, and truly grounding. Caffeine itself has real functional value. It boosts alertness, supports focus under stress, and can help extend food supplies during lean times by slightly suppressing appetite. It's compact, lightweight, and easy to store. There are very few items on this list where emotional value and practical value align so perfectly. Don't leave it out. Stop right here. It's easy to skip over this, but that would be a mistake. Imagine it's your 4th day eating the same plain bowl of rice and lentils. You're not hungry, you're nourished. Your body is getting what it needs. But something inside you is quietly wearing away, in a way that's different from physical hunger. This is called palate fatigue, the psychological toll of eating the same bland meal over and over. In long-term emergencies, this is one of the most underestimated and least discussed pressures people face. Now add a bouillon cube. A single cube, dissolved in hot water and stirred into that bowl, adds a rich, flavorful depth that transforms the entire meal experience. The calories are almost the same. The nutritional value hasn't changed significantly, but the meal actually feels like a meal. Bouillon cubes offer concentrated flavor in a nearly weightless package. Depending on storage conditions, they remain usable for 5 to 10 years, sometimes even longer. With almost zero additional cost, weight, or space, they transform the dining experience of your entire pantry. A small cube, a massive difference. Don't overlook it. Oats look plain. They seem ordinary. This constantly works against them. BECAUSE. When you look at what oats actually offer, the picture changes rapidly. When properly sealed in airtight containers and stored in a cool, dry environment, oats can remain usable for 30 years or longer. This places them in the same extraordinary shelf life category as white rice and lentils. The category few foods reach it. Performs well nutritionally, rich in soluble fiber, significant in iron and B vitamins, reasonably high in protein for a grain, and calorie-dense without being heavy. It's an excellent base for breakfast meals where sustained energy throughout the day is key. Its versatility is equally impressive. Hot oatmeal, energy bars, a thickener for soups and stews, a no-cook meal mixed with dried fruit, honey, and nuts that requires almost nothing. Affordable in bulk, lightweight, no refrigeration needed, and delicious enough to eat not just out of necessity, but by choice. It's been on your shelf for 30 years, and it's still delivering. When fresh protein is no longer available, it's usually the first to run out. During major supply disruptions, canned meat fills the gap. Tuna, chicken, sardines, salmon, fully cooked, vacuum-sealed, and ready to eat the moment you open the can. No prep, no refrigeration, no waiting. The shelf life of most canned meats ranges from 5 to 10 years. depending on the product and storage conditions. The vacuum sealing and heat sterilization process stops biological spoilage from day one. So properly stored cans remain safe well beyond their printed expiration dates. They offer significant nutritional value. They are high in protein, calorie-dense, and particularly rich in omega-3 fatty acids, especially in sardines and salmon. When your body is under prolonged physical or mental stress and your food options are limited, this nutritional density becomes critical. This is a category most people overlook when putting together a survival pantry. It's also the category that makes the difference between a plan that truly nourishes you and one that merely keeps you alive. A diet consisting of grains, legumes, and canned vegetables will keep you functional. But without fat, your body cannot absorb vitamins A, D, E, or K, all of which are fat-soluble and critically important. You won't reach the calorie density you need under physical stress, and meals won't feel satisfying after a few days. Fat is not optional in human nutrition. It's essential. Plant-based oils and olive oil stored in a cool, dark environment generally remain usable for 2 to 3 years. Pure butter, which is clarified butter with the milk solids removed, performs even better in storage. Its low moisture content and natural stability allow it to last significantly longer than regular butter or most cooking oils without needing refrigeration. It also holds up well to high-temperature cooking. It provides 9 calories per gram compared to 4 for fat, protein, or carbohydrates. In a context where calories matter, this density carries more weight than most people realize until they need to account for it. When fresh produce is no longer available, the void it leaves is greater than most people expect, not just nutritionally, but emotionally as well. Fruits provide vitamins, natural sugars, antioxidants, and something else that's harder to measure, but equally important: variety. Eating the same salty main meals day after day, week after week, eventually becomes a challenge in itself. In long-term emergencies, variety isn't a luxury, it's a morale factor that directly influences how sustainable a situation feels. Freeze fruits are processed to remove nearly all moisture while retaining a significant portion of the nutritional profile and flavor of strawberries, blueberries, apples, and mangoes. When stored properly, their shelf life can reach 25 years. Eat them as is, rehydrate them, mix them into oatmeal, or use them in baking. Canned fruits don't reach this shelf life. They typically last between 3 and 5 years, but they're widely available, affordable, and nutritious. The word different often carries less weight than it deserves. Different is what keeps people psychologically grounded when everything starts to feel the same. Mr. E's were designed for a very specific scenario: feeding a soldier in an active combat environment. No prep time, no cooking equipment, no access to clean water, no margin for error. This operational requirement speaks volumes on its own. Each MRE is a fully self-contained meal in a single durable pouch. It includes a main course, a starch or vegetable side dish, a snack, condiments, a dessert, and sometimes a beverage mix. Many contain a flameless ration heater that uses a simple chemical reaction to heat the food without requiring any external heat source, under any conditions. A hot meal straight from the pouch. MREs stored at moderate temperatures typically remain usable for 5 to 10 years. In cooler conditions, the shelf life extends even further. Compact and portable, they work equally well in an emergency kit or on a pantry shelf. The nutritional balance is deliberate and comprehensive, designed to meet the calorie and macronutrient needs of someone working under physical stress exactly when you'll need an MRE. These look completely ordinary. Whole, unprocessed wheat grains, the kind you'd walk right past in the bulk food section without a second glance. Don't walk past them. Here's what truly sets wheat grains apart from flour. Flour goes stale. When wheat is ground, each grain is broken open, exposing the oils inside to oxygen. These oils oxidize rapidly. Over months, the nutritional quality declines and a bitter taste develops. Most bags of flour have a shelf life measured in months under typical household conditions. This isn't a problem with whole wheat kernels. The sturdy outer husk protects everything inside. When stored in airtight containers in a cool environment, whole wheat kernels can remain usable for 30 years or longer without losing their nutritional integrity, or the ability to be ground into fresh flour on demand. Read that again. 30 years on your shelf, then grind fresh flour from grain that's been quietly stored for 30 years. This isn't hypothetical. That's how wheat kernels behave when stored properly. Plus, they're edible right out of the bag. When soaked overnight and simmered, the kernels become a chewy, satisfying grain that works well in salads, oatmeal, and soups. more texture, more nutrients, and more depth than pre-ground flour. For anyone serious about building a long-term pantry, this is one of the most consistently underrated items on the list. Asterisk. Here we are. If you spent the entire video expecting something old, exotic, or technically advanced to top the list, what's coming next will really surprise you. It's something found in most kitchens right now. It's probably already opened. In many homes, it's already half empty. Peanut butter. The reason it's number one isn't just one factor. It's the combination of all these factors at once. Let's start with nutrition. 2 tablespoons provide approximately 190 calories, about 8 grams of protein per serving, healthy unsaturated fats that support cardiovascular function and help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins, and significant amounts of magnesium, niacin, vitamin E, and potassium all in a compact, affordable format. Then there's shelf stability. An unopened jar stays good well beyond its printed date. The low moisture content and high fat composition leave very little room for bacteria to thrive. No fridge, no Mylar pouch, no oxygen absorber, no special setup. It sits ready on the shelf in its original container. Then there's the convenience factor, which seems small until you really need it. Peanut butter requires zero preparation. Open the jar, eat, no water, no heat, no equipment. When you're managing a real emergency and your mental capacity is already stretched thin, food that asks nothing of you in return is far more valuable than it appears. When everything is calm, versatility enhances everything. Spread it on crackers. Mix it into oatmeal. Blend it with powdered milk for a high-calorie protein shake. Eat it straight from the jar. It works across an almost absurd range of uses, without ever requiring any effort. But here's what really makes it the number one choice. Imagine it's been 2 weeks since a major disruption. Plain rice and lentils twice a day. You're full, you're nourished. But the meals themselves have become a quiet psychological burden. Every bowl is a small, steady reminder of just how tight things have gotten. No one says it out loud. Everyone feels it. Then you open a jar of peanut butter. You take a spoonful, and something truly shifts. It doesn't taste like survival rations. It tastes like something you'd choose on any normal day. In a time that offers so little comfort, that spoonful carries a weight far beyond its calories. In long-term emergencies, morale isn't a soft metric. It directly impacts judgment, emotional resilience, and the ability to maintain structure as conditions worsen. Food that actively supports morale isn't a luxury. It's a functional necessity. Peanut butter provides everything a survival pantry needs, and, in doing so, it makes you feel better. Crunchy or smooth, natural or classic, it doesn't matter. Keep it sealed. Store it. Keep it on your shelf. That's why it's number one. And to be honest, it's not even close. That's it. 18 truly long-lasting foods. Some are ancient honey that's outlived empires. Grains that have remained intact for centuries. Some are modern and purpose-built MREs, designed to exact performance standards. And some are just quietly, stubbornly reliable. Rice that refuses to go bad. Peanut butter that gives you everything you need and asks for nothing in return. The common theme across all 18 is simple. They were chosen because they actually work, not because they're trendy, not because a marketing campaign built a story around them. The reason they're on this list is that these are the foods that hold up when things go wrong. Build your pantry around these. Rotate your stock. Stockpile the things you'll actually eat when it matters. And remember, preparation isn't about expecting the worst. It's about giving yourself real options when conditions start to tighten. Which of these 18 surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I read them all, and your response shapes the next one. If this reached you while everyone is still doing well, forward it to someone who needs to see it before they need it. The best time to build a food reserve is before you need it. The second best time is right now.